The primary initiatives that relate to my ministry are involving immigration reform. First of all, we recognize that immigration is a very divisive issue and that in order to make reform, it needs to be done on a consultative basis. So we will engage in public consultation to create the framework for legislative reform. And we will have those reforms in place by the early part of next year. The key part includes a position on the further grant of PRCs and then the further grant of Bermuda status. That's first. We also cover planning. We will pass legislation to strengthen the penalties for those who willfully violate planning guidelines and law. There's an abundance of people who choose to do first and then seek permission later. We're going to try to reverse that. When it comes to the environment, we know that we need to introduce a policy regarding dogs. And so this calendar year, legislative year, we will put policies and laws in place to formalize a new policy regarding the breeds of dogs which will be allowed, for prohibited versus restricted. There are many laws that we have to address. We need to address the multitude of labor laws that exist, some of which are inherently contradictory. So we will combine certain laws to create a better framework. The ultimate objective of these laws is to ensure a better legal framework by which employers and employees interact. We find that there's not enough strength in the law to protect employees, so we will do that. When it comes to the environment and open space, we know that we need to protect more of our open spaces, and so we intend to pass in this legislative year laws which will protect certain open space. Currently, planning guidelines allow for a minister to use his or her discretion to amend the zoning, but that is too much discretion. We wanted to firm up that which is protected and have it in terms of legislation. Many of these initiatives that we have looked at are fundamentally important because they do two things. They help to create a fairer Bermuda. They help to strengthen Bermuda from an economic standpoint. Our focus is fairness and equality and greater economic opportunity. Immigration has to be fair, but it has to create an environment that's attractive for businesses to invest. You want to protect the environment. You want to provide for a safe set of conditions for people with respect to dog policy, because we're creating legislation that's going to benefit the current generation and future generations. You protect land for future generations. You can expect to see legislation tabled as early as February of next year. You will appreciate that there is a level of consultation and processes we have to go through. As someone who is naturally impatient, I would want to table legislation next month, but I know there's a process we need to adhere to, and that will involve the legal minds coming to opine on the legislation. But by February of next year, we intend to have our first slate of legislative reforms tabled.